The great council hall of the Galactic Empire stretched far into the darkness above Commander Yoon sat at the massive round table made of black stone that reflected the stars outside. The hall was so big that voices echoed for seconds before fading. Away around the table sat the most powerful beings in the galaxy, each one representing a different alien species that had joined the Empire over thousands of years. Commander Yoon was tall and blue-skinned with 4 arms that moved gracefully as he spoke. His species, the Valoans, had been part of the Empire for over 2,000 years. They were known for their military skills and their pride in conquest. Today, they were discussing something that seemed very simple to most of the council. Members, the fate of a small blue planet called Earth. The holographic display in the center of the table showed Earth spinning slowly. The planet looked beautiful with its blue oceans and green continents. White clouds swirled around it like cotton. It looked peaceful and harmless. Most of the council members barely glanced at it. They had seen thousands of planets like this one. What made this one special? Ambassador Kale laughed as he looked at the display. His species looked like giant squids, with purple skin and dozens of tentacles that never stopped moving. He had been in the Empire for 500 years and had helped conquer over 50 worlds. Earth would be just another easy victory. The humans are still very primitive, he said, his tentacles waving with amusement. They barely know how to travel in space. Their fastest ships would take them years to reach their nearest star. They have no real weapons that could hurt our ships. They still fight each other with simple metal bullets and small explosives. What threat could they possibly be to our mighty empire? Other council members nodded in agreement. General Zen, who looked like a giant insect with razor-sharp claws, tapped the table. The humans have no shields around their planet. He said they have no space stations with weapons. They have no allies among the stars. One of our fleets could conquer them in a few days, but in the corner of the great hall, Elder Nick sat quietly. His species was very old and wise. They had been watching the galaxy for longer than any other race. Elder Nix had lived for over 3,000 years and had seen the rise and fall of many civilizations. His face was wrinkled like old leather and his eyes were deep and sad. Elder Nix had been studying Earth for over 200 years. He had watched the humans grow and change. He had seen their wars and their peace. He had seen them explore their own planet and reach for the stars, and what he had seen filled him with a fear that kept him awake. At night, you do not understand, he said, finally standing up slowly. His voice was quiet, but it carried clearly through the great hall. The other council members turned to look at him, surprised that he was speaking. Most of the time, Elder Nix just listened and voted. He rarely shared his thoughts. I have studied the humans for centuries. Elder Nix continued walking closer to the holographic display of Earth. These creatures are unlike anything we have ever seen in the galaxy. They are not like us. They do not think like us. They do not fight like us. Commander Yoon laughed. What makes them so special? Old One, they are young and weak. They have no technology worth mentioning. They have never even left their own star system. Elder Nix touched the holographic display, making it zoom in to show images of Earth. The images showed human cities and farms and forests. Then the images changed to show something else. War, the humans fighting each other with incredible violence and determination. Look at their history, Elder Nix said, pointing to the images. They have been fighting wars for thousands of years, wars that lasted for decades. Wars that destroyed entire continents, wars that killed millions of their own people, but they never stopped fighting. They never gave up. They never surrendered, even when they were losing badly. The images showed humans in different time periods. Ancient humans fighting with swords and spears, humans in more recent times fighting in muddy trenches, humans fighting in frozen wastelands and burning deserts, humans fighting in cities that had been bombed to ruins. But in every image, the humans kept fighting. Ambassador Kale waved his tentacles dismissively. So they fight each other. That proves they are primitive and violent, not dangerous to us. When we arrive, they will probably surrender quickly. They will be happy to have peace under our rule. Elder Nick shook his head sadly. You still do not understand. The humans do not just fight. They fight to survive. And when they fight to survive, they become something terrible. They adapt faster than any species we have ever seen. They learn from every defeat. They turn their weaknesses into strengths. The images changed again. Now they showed human technology. advancing rapidly, humans going from simple tools to complex machines in just a few hundred years, humans going from walking to flying to reaching their moon in less than a century. In our studies of other species, Elder Nix continued, we have learned that most civilizations develop slowly over thousands of years, but humans, they change and grow so fast that it frightens me. They have gone from hitting rocks together to splitting atoms in just a few thousand years. General Zen clicked his claws impatiently, so they learn quickly that still does not make them dangerous to us. Our technology is still thousands of years ahead of theirs. Our ships can destroy their entire planet from space. They cannot even reach us. Elder Nix looked directly at Commander Yoon, his ancient eyes filled with worry. I have seen what happens when you corner a human, when you threaten everything they love. They do not calculate odds. They do not worry about winning or losing. They just fight with everything. They fight until they win or until they die. Trying the holographic display showed more images now. Images of individual humans doing impossible things, humans jumping on live grenades to save their friends, humans charging into hopeless battles to protect their families, humans surviving in conditions that would kill most other species. Commander Yoon stood up, his forearms crossed over his chest. Elder Nix, I respect your wisdom, but I think you are seeing threats where none exist. Yes, the humans are tough for a primitive species, but toughness means nothing against superior technology. One fleet will be enough to make them surrender. When they see our ships in their sky, they will realize they cannot win. Elder Nix walked back to his seat, his shoulders bent with age and sorrow. He had tried to warn them, but they would not listen. He had seen this pattern before in his long life, a young, aggressive species that everyone underestimated until it was too late. The council took a vote, as they always did when deciding the fate of a world. Commander Yoon voted to invade. Ambassador Kale voted to invade. General Zen voted to invade. One by one, almost every member of the council voted to add Earth to the empire. Only Elder Nix voted against the invasion. The invasion fleet will be prepared immediately, Commander Yoon announced. The humans will be given one chance to surrender peacefully. If they refuse, we will take their planet by force. It should be over within a few weeks. Elder Nix stood up one last time, his voice carrying a warning that would haunt the empire for years to come. Mark my words, Commander Yoon, if we attack Earth, we will awaken something that will destroy us all. The humans do not just fight to win, they fight to survive, and when they fight to survive, they become the most dangerous force in the galaxy. The Council dismissed his warning with laughter. They were the Galactic Empire. They had conquered 1,000 worlds. They had crushed every enemy they had ever faced. What could one small blue planet do against their mighty fleets? But Elder Nix knew the truth. The Empire was about to make the greatest mistake in galactic history. They were about to attack a species that would never stop fighting, never stop learning, and never stop growing until they had won. The invasion would begin in 3 months. General Park stood in the command center of the secret base hidden on the dark side of the moon. The base was enormous, carved out of rock and metal. Over 6 months of desperate work, the halls buzzed with activity as thousands of humans worked day and night on the greatest project in human history, revenge against the Galactic Empire. The base was invisible to alien sensors, protected by technology that human scientists had stolen and improved. They had taken alien stealth systems and made them better. They had captured alien computers and learned to hack them. They had studied alien weapons and built more powerful version 6. Months had passed since the invasion and humanity had been very busy. The resistance on Earth continued to grow stronger every day, attacking alien forces and stealing their technology. But the real work was happening here in space, where humans were building a fleet that would shock the galaxy. Admiral Lim walked through the massive hangar where dozens of new human ships were being built. The ships looked nothing like the old Earth Defense Force vessels. These were sleek and deadly, built with alien technology and human determination. They were smaller than the alien ships, but they were faster and more maneuverable. The new ships were painted black to blend into the darkness of space. They carried weapons that could punch through alien armor and shields that could deflect alien energy beams. Most importantly, they were crewed by humans who had learned to fight like their lives depended on it, because these ships represent everything we have learned. General Park said to Admiral Lim as they watched engineers install the final weapon systems. The aliens taught us that size does not matter, speed matters. The aliens taught us that fancy technology does not matter, determination matters. The first human counterattack was planned to hit 3 different alien supply convoys at the same time. The aliens had spread their forces across many star systems, thinking they were safe from human attack. They had grown lazy and confident they were about to learn a very painful lesson. Captain Song commanded the human ship Guangzhou as it approached the first alien convoy. The convoy consisted of 5 large ships carrying weapons and supplies to alien forces in distant star systems. The ships were protected by a dozen alien fighters, but they were not expecting an attack. The human ships struck like lightning, appearing out of nowhere and attacking with incredible speed. The alien convoy never saw them coming. The human weapons were designed specifically to destroy alien ships, and they worked perfectly. The first alien ship exploded in a ball of fire before its crew could even send a distress signal. The alien fighters tried to respond, but they were too slow. The human ships moved like dancing shadows, weaving between the alien formations and striking at their weak points. Captain Song had studied alien tactics for months, and he knew exactly where to hit them. The second alien convoy was attacked by Captain Lee in the ship named Seoul. The aliens had just enough time to realize they were under attack before their ships began exploding. The human tactics were completely different from anything the aliens had seen before. The humans did not fight in straight lines or follow predictable patterns. Instead, they attacked from all directions at once, using the emptiness of space to hide their movements. They would appear, strike hard, and then vanish before the aliens could fight back. It was like fighting ghosts that could kill with a touch. The third convoy was destroyed by Captain Cho, who had been promoted from resistance leader to starship commander. Her ship, the Incheon, attacked the alien formation from below, where they were not expecting threats. The aliens tried to turn their ships to face the attack, but human weapons were already tearing through their hulls. All 3 attacks were successful, and all 3 alien convoys were completely destroyed. The humans captured valuable intelligence about alien military plans, and they proved that the alien fleet could be beaten. The psychological impact on the aliens was enormous. Commander Yoon received the reports of the attacks with growing panic. 3 convoys destroyed in the same day with no survivors and no distress signals. The humans had somehow built a fleet that could challenge the Empire. This was supposed to be impossible, but the humans did not stop with the convoy attacks. They had learned that the aliens were weak when they were spread out. The Empire controlled thousands of star systems, but they could not defend all of them at once. The humans began attacking alien outposts and bases throughout the galaxy. The attacks followed a pattern that the aliens could not predict. Human ships would appear, strike hard, and disappear before reinforcements could arrive. The aliens never knew where the next attack would come from. They began pulling their forces back to defend their most important worlds on Earth. The resistance had grown into a full-scale rebellion. Entire cities rose up against the alien occupation forces. The aliens found themselves fighting door-to-door battles against humans who knew every street and every building. The humans had turned their own planet into a fortress. Captain Park led the resistance in the ruins of Seoul, where humans had built a network of tunnels and hidden bases. The aliens controlled the surface, but the humans controlled everything underneath. The fighting was brutal and continuous, with neither side able to gain a decisive advantage. The aliens had superior weapons and armor, but the humans had something more important. They had nothing left to lose. Every building became a fortress, every street became a battlefield, every human became a potential soldier. The aliens found themselves fighting an enemy that could not be defeated because it refused to surrender. The psychological warfare was just as important as the physical fighting. The humans had learned to use the alien communication systems against them. They broadcast messages throughout the Empire telling other species about the human rebellion. They showed that the mighty galactic empire could be challenged. The messages were simple but effective. We are human. We do not surrender. We do not forget. We are coming for you. The word spread fear throughout the empire as alien commanders realized they were facing something they had never encountered before. The breaking point came when a team led by Colonel Shin infiltrated the main alien command center on Earth. The mission was considered impossible, but the humans had learned That impossible was just another word for difficult. Colonel Shin and his team fought their way through layers of alien security using captured alien technology and human tactics the aliens had never seen before. They moved like shadows through the alien base, leaving destruction in their wake. The team did not try to hold the command center. Instead, they planted a simple device that would broadcast a message to every alien ship in the fleet. The message was recorded by General Park himself, and it was designed to strike fear into the hearts of every alien who heard it. Attention, soldiers of the Galactic Empire, the message began. You came to our world thinking you could conquer us. You thought we were weak and primitive. You thought we would surrender without a fight. You were wrong about everything. We are human. We have been fighting wars for thousands of years. We have survived ice ages and plagues and disasters that would destroy other species. We have never been conquered, and we never will be. We learn from every defeat. We grow stronger with every battle. You have awakened something that you cannot control. We are not just fighting for our planet anymore. We are fighting for every world you have conquered, for every species you have enslaved, for every life you have destroyed. Your empire is built on fear and oppression, but we are not afraid. We are coming for you. We will hunt you across the galaxy. We will destroy your ships and your bases and your hope. We will show the universe that tyrants can be defeated, that bullies can be beaten, that freedom is stronger than fear. The message ended with a simple promise. This is what happens when you threaten Earth. This is what happens when you underestimate humans. This is what happens when you wake up the warriors. The impact of the message was immediate. Alien morale collapsed as soldiers realized they were fighting an enemy that would never give up. The humans had turned the alien communication system into a weapon of psychological warfare, and it was more effective than any bomb across the galaxy. Alien worlds that had been loyal to the Empire for centuries began to whisper about the humans who would not surrender. Some began to wonder if they too could fight back against their oppressors. The Empire grip on the galaxy was beginning to weaken. The war had entered a new phase. The humans were no longer just defending their home. They were taking the fight to the enemy. They were becoming the hunters instead of the hunted, and the galaxy would never be the same again. Commander Yoon stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the stars streak past as his ship ran at maximum speed. The once mighty vessel now bore the scars of dozens of battles with humans. Its hull was patched with different metals, and its weapons systems had been repaired so many times that they barely worked properly. His fleet had once numbered over 1,000 ships. Now he had less than 50 vessels left, and they were all damaged. The humans had turned from prey into predators, and they were hunting the alien fleet across the galaxy with a determination that terrified even the bravest alien warriors. Sir, we are receiving another distress call, reported Communications Officer Kex, his voice shaking with fear. The mining station at Kepler 442 is under attack. The humans appeared without warning, and they are destroying everything. Commander Yoon closed his eyes and tried to control his anger. The humans had learned to strike anywhere at any time. Their small, fast ships could attack deep inside Empire territory and escape before reinforcements could arrive. It was like fighting shadows that could kill with a touch. How many human ships? The commander asked, already knowing the answer would disappoint him. Only 3, sir. But they are using new tactics. The humans are not just destroying our facilities. They are capturing our people and our technology. They are learning everything we know and using it against us. Commander Yoon had seen the reports from other battles. The humans fought with a creativity and adaptability that the Empire had never encountered before. They would study alien tactics and then develop new ways to defeat them. They turned every battle into a learning experience. The humans had captured alien officers and interrogated them not with torture, but with something far more effective. They offered the aliens a choice: serve the Empire that treated them as expendable soldiers, or join the humans who treated prisoners with respect and dignity. Many aliens chose to defect. Captain Song of the human ship Gwangju had become a legend among both human and alien forces. His ship had destroyed over 30 alien vessels and captured 2 alien bases. The aliens had put a massive bounty on his head, but he seemed to be everywhere at once. The Gwangju was a perfect example of human adaptation. It had started as a simple human ship, but over months of fighting it had been upgraded with captured alien technology. The humans had taken the best parts of alien science and combine them with human engineering to create something new, sir. Another distress call from the communications relay at Volf 359. The humans are attacking there as well. They have somehow learned to coordinate attacks across multiple star systems. This was the part that frightened Commander Yoon the most. The humans were not just fighting random battles, they were following a strategic plan. They were systematically destroying the Empire infrastructure, cutting off communications and supply lines. The attack on Volf 359 was led by Captain Park in the ship Seoul. The human fleet had grown to over 200 ships, all built with a combination of human and alien technology. The ships moved with perfect coordination, attacking from multiple directions at once. The alien defenders tried to fight back, but they were demoralized and confused. They had been told that humans were primitive and weak, but these warriors fought with skills that rivaled the best alien military units. The humans used tactics that the aliens had never seen before. Captain Park had studied every alien battle formation, every alien weapon system, every alien weakness. The humans had turned warfare into a science, learning from every encounter and constantly improving their methods. The aliens were fighting an enemy that grew stronger with every battle. The human tactics were based on speed, surprise, and overwhelming force. They would appear from hyperspace, strike hard and fast, then disappear before the aliens could organize a counterattack. The aliens never knew where the next attack would come from, but the humans were not just better fighters, they were better at everything. The human ships were faster than alien vessels. The human weapons were more accurate than alien guns. The human commanders made decisions faster than alien officers. Most importantly, the humans had something the aliens had lost long ago. They had a reason to fight. The aliens were fighting for an empire that saw them as replaceable soldiers. The humans were fighting for their families, their freedom, their very survival. The news of human victories spread throughout the galaxy. Species that had been conquered by the Empire began to hope that freedom was possible. Some brave aliens began to rebel against their oppressors, inspired by the human example. Commander Yoon received reports that entire alien worlds were rising up against the Empire. The humans had not just defeated the alien military, they had broken the Empire political control. The galaxy was falling apart, and it was all because of one small blue planet. The humans had learned to use the Empire size against them. The Empire was too big to defend properly. The humans could strike anywhere, while the aliens had to defend everywhere. It was an impossible situation for the Empire forces. Captain Lee, now promoted to Admiral, commanded the human fleet from the flagship Terra. The ship was built entirely with human technology, but it incorporated everything the humans had learned from fighting the aliens. It was faster, stronger, and more advanced than any ship the Empire had ever built. Admiral Lee had become the most feared name in the galaxy. Alien commanders would surrender rather than face his ships in battle. The humans had proven that superior technology meant nothing without the will to use it effectively. The Terra led a fleet of human ships in the final assault on the Empire homeworld. The planet was defended by the last remnants of the alien fleet, but they were already defeated in spirit, if not in fact. The humans had shown that the mighty Empire could be beaten. The battle for the Empire capital was swift and decisive. The alien defenders fought bravely, but they were facing an enemy that had learned to fight better than they had. The humans had turned warfare into an art form, and they were the masters. Commander Yoon watched from his flagship as the human fleet destroyed the last of the Empire defenses. The humans did not kill unnecessarily, but they were ruthless in their efficiency. Every alien ship that refused to surrender was destroyed. Every alien base that resisted was eliminated. The Empire that had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years was crumbling. The humans had done in 2 years what no other species had managed in millennia. They had brought the mighty Empire to its knees through sheer determination and superior tactics, but the humans were not finished. They had learned that victory in battle was not enough. They needed to win the peace as well. The humans began broadcasting messages to every world in the galaxy, offering hope to the oppressed and freedom to the enslaved. The psychological impact was enormous. Species that had been conquered centuries ago began to remember what freedom felt like. The Empire had ruled through fear, but the humans offered something more powerful. They offered hope. Admiral Lee stood on the bridge of the Terra, watching the Empire Capital Burn, he had started the war as a simple ship captain, but he had become something more. He had become a symbol of human determination and the power of never giving up. The humans had proven that technology alone could not win wars that superior. Numbers meant nothing without superior tactics, that an empire built on fear and oppression could be defeated by a species that fought for freedom and justice. The war was almost over. The empire was broken, the alien fleet was destroyed, and the galaxy was about to change forever. The humans had kept their promise. They had come for their enemies, and they had won, but more importantly, they had shown the galaxy that bullies could be beaten, that tyrants could be defeated, that freedom was possible. Even against impossible odds, the humans had not just won a war, they had won the right to shape the future of the galaxy. The species that had been dismissed as primitive and weak had become the most powerful force in the galaxy, not because they were the strongest or the smartest, but because they refused to give up. They had turned their greatest weakness into their greatest strength. The galaxy would never be the same. The age of the Empire was over. The age of humanity had begun. 3 months had passed since the alien invasion, and the world looked very different now. The great cities of Earth lay in ruins, with alien towers rising from the wreckage. The sky was filled with alien ships that patrolled constantly, making sure no human tried to fight back. The aliens had divided all of humanity into work groups, forcing them to dig mines and build factories to serve the Galactic Empire. But deep beneath the destroyed city of Soldar, Kim worked in a secret laboratory that the aliens did not know about. The laboratory was hidden in old subway tunnels that had been abandoned for years. Dr. Kim had been a physicist before the invasion, but now he was something much more important. He was humanity's last hope for freedom. The alien technology is incredible, he whispered to his assistant Dr. Han as they carefully examined a piece of alien metal that had fallen from a destroyed ship. But it is not magic. Everything they have, we can learn to understand. Everything they can build, we can learn to build better. Dr. Han nodded as she looked through a microscope at alien circuits. The patterns were strange and complex, but they followed rules that could be learned. The aliens were advanced, but they were not gods. They made mistakes, and those mistakes could be used against them. Above ground, the alien occupation forces walked through the streets with confidence. They wore armor that shimmered like mirrors and carried weapons that could kill a human with one shot. They had conquered thousands of worlds before Earth, and they thought this would be just another easy victory. But the aliens did not understand humans. They thought that defeat would make them give up. They thought that fear would make them obey. They thought that separating them into work groups would prevent them from organizing, but they were wrong about everything. Every work group became a resistance cell. Every factory became a place to steal alien technology. Every mine became a training ground for guerrilla warfare. The humans shared information through secret codes hidden in their daily work. They passed weapons and supplies through tunnels that the aliens could not find. Captain Cho had been a police officer before the invasion, but now she was the leader of one of the most successful resistance groups. She had short black hair and scars on her face from fighting alien soldiers, but her eyes still burned with determination. She understood that the aliens were stronger, but she also understood that they had weaknesses. The aliens think we are defeated, she told her team as they prepared for another mission. They think we are broken and scared. That is their biggest mistake. They do not understand that humans fight harder when we have nothing left to lose. Her team consisted of 20 humans from different backgrounds. There was Engineer Park, who had learned to build explosives from alien materials. There was Teacher Lim, who had memorized the locations of every alien patrol. There was Student Young, who could hack into alien computers. And there was Farmer Jin, who knew every secret path through the countryside. Tonight, they would attack an alien supply convoy that carried weapons and equipment to the occupation forces. The aliens had grown careless, thinking that the humans were too afraid to fight back. They were about to learn how wrong they were. The convoy consisted of 3 alien vehicles that hovered above the ground using anti-gravity technology. The vehicles were guarded by a dozen alien soldiers who wore the standard mirror armor of the occupation forces. They moved slowly through the ruins of what had once been a busy highway. Captain Cho and her team waited in the shadows of destroyed buildings. They had been planning this attack for weeks, studying the convoy routes and timing the alien patrols. Engineer Park had built special explosives that could damage alien armor. Teacher Lim had found the perfect spot for an ambush. The attack came at dawn, when the alien soldiers were least alert. The humans erupted from their hiding places like ghosts emerging from the shadows. They used captured alien weapons alongside homemade explosives and modified human technology. The aliens were caught completely off guard. The battle was fast and brutal. The aliens had better weapons and armor, but the humans had surprise and desperation on their side. Engineer Park detonated his explosives under the first alien vehicle, sending it crashing to the ground. Student Young hacked into the second vehicle and turned its weapons against the third. The alien soldiers fought back with their energy weapons, but the humans had learned to use the ruins as cover. They moved like shadows, jumping from building to building using tunnels and secret passages that the aliens did not know about. Teacher Lim coordinated the attack with hand signals, while Farmer Jin led flanking attacks through the rubble. Within minutes, the convoy was destroyed and half the alien soldiers were dead. The surviving aliens tried to call for help, but Student Young had jammed their communications. The humans quickly gathered the alien weapons and equipment, then disappeared into the ruins before reinforcements could arrive. But the real victory was not the supplies they had captured. It was the message they had sent. The aliens could be beaten, they could be surprised, they could be killed. The news of the successful ambush spread through the secret resistance network faster than wildfire. Similar attacks began happening all over the world. In Tokyo, a group of humans destroyed an alien communications center. In London, resistance fighters attacked an alien command post. In New York, humans sabotaged an alien power plant. Every day brought new reports of successful resistance operations. The aliens found themselves fighting not just organized military units, but an entire species that refused to accept defeat. Every human was a potential enemy. Every building could hide resistance fighters. Every piece of equipment could be turned into a weapon. Commander Yoon sat in his command center, reading the daily reports of resistance activities with growing frustration. How was this possible? The humans had been defeated. Their military was destroyed, their government was gone, their cities were in ruins. Yet they continued to fight with a determination that defied all logic. The resistance was growing stronger every day. More humans were joining the fight, more alien equipment was being captured, more successful attacks were being carried out. The aliens had expected to spend a few months organizing their new conquest, but instead they were fighting a war that seemed to have no end. In space, human ships began appearing in the outer parts of the solar system. These were not the primitive vessels that had been destroyed in the first battle. These were new ships built with stolen alien technology and human engineering. The humans had somehow learned to build starships that could challenge the alien fleet. Dr. Kim worked frantically in his underground laboratory as reports came in of successful resistance operations. The alien technology was finally beginning to make sense. The humans were learning to build their own versions of alien weapons and ships. They were adapting the alien technology to work with human systems. We are not just fighting back, he told Dr. Han as they worked on a new weapon design. We are evolving, we are becoming something new, something that the aliens never expected. The aliens had thought they were conquering a primitive species, but they had actually awakened something far more dangerous. They had awakened a species that learned from every defeat, that adapted to every challenge, that refused to surrender no matter how hopeless the situation seemed. In the depths of space, the alien occupation fleet began receiving disturbing reports. Human ships were not just appearing, they were attacking alien outposts in the outer solar system. The ships were smaller than the alien vessels, but they moved with incredible speed and attacked with tactics that the aliens had never seen before. The humans were no longer just defending their home planet, they were taking the fight to the enemy. They were learning to fight in space. They were becoming something that the Galactic Empire had never faced before, a species that grew stronger with every battle. Commander Yoon realized with growing horror that Elder Nix had been right. The humans were not just another primitive species to be conquered, they were something far more dangerous. They were a species that would never stop fighting, never stop learning, never stop growing until they had won. The war was far from over. In fact, it was just beginning. Captain Lee stood on the bridge of the Earth defense ship Seoul, looking out at the stars through the large viewing window. He had been waiting for this moment his entire life, the moment when humanity would finally meet other intelligent life from across the galaxy. But as he watched the massive alien fleet approach Earth, he knew this was not going to be the peaceful first contact that everyone had hoped for. Alien ships were beautiful in a terrifying way. They looked like giant silver birds with wings that seemed to shimmer and change color as they moved through space. There were so many of them that they blocked out entire sections of stars. Captain Lee had served in the Earth Defense Force for 20 years, but he had never seen anything like this. Lieutenant Park sat at the communications station, her fingers dancing across the controls as she tried to make sense of the alien signals. "Sir," she said without looking up from her screen, "we are receiving a transmission from the lead ship. It appears they want to talk to us." Captain Lee straightened his uniform and walked to the center of the bridge. "Put it on the main screen," he ordered. The large display flickered to life, showing the interior of an alien ship. The being that appeared on screen was tall and imposing, with blue skin and 4 arms that moved with fluid grace. "I am Commander Yoon of the Galactic Empire," the alien said, his voice deep and filled with authority. Behind him, other aliens moved around what looked like a command center. "Primitive humans, your planet is now under the control of our mighty empire. You have 2 choices. Submit to our rule immediately, and some of you will be allowed to live as servants to our great civilization, or resist and watch your entire species be destroyed." Captain Lee felt his heart racing, but he kept his voice steady. "This is Captain Lee of the Earth Defense Force. We speak for all of humanity. We do not accept your demands. Earth is not for sale, and we will not bow to anyone who threatens our home." Commander Yoon laughed, a sound like metal scraping against stone. "You think you can resist us? Look around you, Captain Lee. We have brought over 1,000 warships to your small planet. You have less than 100 ships, and they are primitive compared to our technology. This battle will be over in a few hours, maybe." Captain Lee replied, his voice calm, but his eyes burning with determination. "Maybe you will win, Commander Yoon, but I promise you this. It will not be easy, and you will remember this day for the rest of your lives." The communication ended, and both fleets prepared for battle. The alien ships moved with perfect coordination, like a school of fish in the ocean. Each ship was twice the size of the largest human vessel, and their weapons glowed with energy that could destroy entire cities. The human ships looked small and weak in comparison, but they moved with purpose and determination. The first shots were fired by the aliens' beams of pure energy lanced out from their ships, striking the human vessels. Some of the human ships exploded immediately, their crews dying in flashes of light and fire. But the remaining human ships did not retreat. Instead, they charged forward, firing everything they had. The human weapons were primitive compared to the alien technology, but they were used with skill and desperation. The humans had been preparing for this possibility for decades. They had studied every science fiction movie, every military strategy, every possible way to fight an enemy with superior technology. Captain Song commanded the Earth defense ship Bison. When it was hit by 3 alien energy beams, the ship was dying, its hull cracked and atmosphere bleeding into space. But instead of abandoning ship, Captain Song made a decision that would be remembered forever. "All crew to escape pods," he ordered over the ship intercom. "Except for the bridge crew, we have one last job to do." He turned to his remaining officers and smiled grimly. "Gentlemen, it has been an honor serving with youth." Bison accelerated toward the alien flagship, its engines pushed far beyond their safety limits. The alien commander tried to destroy the approaching human ship, but it was too late. The Bison slammed into the alien flagship at incredible speed. Both ships exploded in a ball of fire that could be seen from Earth. Other human ships followed the Bison example. When the Earth defense ship Incheon was surrounded by alien vessels, Captain Park ordered her crew to ram the nearest enemy ship. When the Earth defense ship Daegu lost its main weapons, Lieutenant Kim used the ship as a missile to destroy an alien cruiser. The aliens had never faced an enemy like this. Most species surrendered when they realized they could not win, but the humans seemed to fight harder when the situation became hopeless. They used their own ships as weapons. They refused to retreat even when their ships were falling apart around them. The battle raged for 18 hours. The alien ships were faster and stronger, and their weapons were more powerful. But the humans fought with a fury that the aliens had never seen before. When alien boarding parties tried to capture the human space station, they expected quick surrender. Instead, they found themselves fighting humans in every corridor. Every room became a battlefield. Every storage closet became a fortress. The humans used tools as weapons they turned their own technology against. The invaders, they set traps and ambush that killed aliens who had been conquering worlds for centuries. Engineer Kim was trapped in the engineering section when the aliens boarded the station. He was not a soldier, just a man who fixed machines. But when the aliens came for him, he grabbed a plasma cutter and fought like a demon. He killed 3 aliens before they finally brought him down. Dr. Han was working in the medical bay when the aliens broke in. She threw medical supplies at them, then grabbed a surgical laser and used it as a weapon. She held them off long enough for the wounded humans to escape to another part of the station. The humans fought in ways the aliens had never seen before. They used the station itself as a weapon, turning off gravity in some sections while flooding others with radiation. They hacked into the alien equipment and turned it against them. They never stopped fighting, even when they were clearly losing. By the time the battle ended, the aliens had won, but at a terrible cost. They had started with over 1,000 ships, now they had less than 800. The humans had fought with only 93 ships, but they had destroyed more than 200 alien vessels. Commander Yoon sat in his command chair, staring at the casualty reports in disbelief. How was this possible? The humans had inferior technology. They had fewer ships, they had no experience fighting in space, yet they had inflicted massive damage on the Empire fleet on Earth. The surviving humans did not cry about their defeat. They did not give up hope. Instead, they began studying the wreckage of alien ships that had fallen to the planet's surface. They examined every piece of alien technology they could find. They learned how the alien weapons worked. They figured out how alien ships were built in hidden laboratories around the world. Human scientists worked day and night. They took apart alien computers and learned their secrets. They studied alien metals and found ways to make them. They captured alien weapons and learned to build better ones. The aliens thought they had won a great victory. They had conquered Earth and killed most of the human space fleet, but they had made a terrible mistake. They had left the humans alive, thinking that defeat would break their spirit. They were wrong. The humans were not broken. They were angry. And angry humans were the most dangerous force in the galaxy. Elder Nick stood in the ruins of the Imperial Palace on the former capital world of the Galactic Empire. The great building that had once been a symbol of alien power for thousands of years now lay in broken pieces. Human ships patrolled the skies above, while human soldiers walked through the halls where Empire commanders had once planned their conquest. The war had lasted exactly 2 years, and it had ended with complete human victory. The mighty empire that had ruled 1,000,000 worlds had been destroyed by a single species from a small blue planet. The galaxy would never be the same again. President Yu of the new Earth government walked through the rubble surrounded by human marines and alien delegates from worlds that had joined the Human Alliance. She was a small woman with gray hair and kind eyes, but everyone in the galaxy knew that she spoke for the most powerful military force the universe had ever seen. The old empire is dead, President Yu announced to the gathered representatives from hundreds of different species. We are not here to build a new empire in its place. We are here to build something better, a galaxy where no species rules over another, where strength protects the weak instead of exploiting them. The alien delegates listened nervously. They had seen what humans could do when they were angry. They had watched a 1,000,000-year-old empire crumble in just 2 years. They knew that crossing humanity would be the last mistake any species would ever make, but they had also seen something else about humans, something that gave them hope. The humans had treated prisoners of war with kindness. They had shared their technology with former enemies. They had helped rebuild worlds that the Empire had destroyed. The humans fought like demons, but they were not demons themselves. The humans had created something new in the galaxy, a military force that used its power to protect rather than to conquer. The human fleet was the largest and most advanced in the galaxy, but it was used to stop wars, not to start them. Admiral Lee, now the commander of all human space forces, stood beside President Yu as she addressed the Galactic Assembly. His ship, the Terra, had become a symbol of human power, but also of human justice. The humans had proven that strength without mercy was worthless, but mercy without strength was also useless. We offer membership in the Galactic Alliance to any species that wants to join. President, you continued, there are no requirements. Except one, you must treat all intelligent life with respect and dignity. You must never use your power to hurt others, only to protect them. The response was immediate. Over 300 species applied to join the alliance within the first week. Former enemies of humanity begged to be allowed to sign the treaty. Even species that had never been conquered by the Empire wanted to be part of this new galactic order. The humans had done something that no other species had ever achieved. They had won a war so completely that their former enemies wanted to become their allies. The galaxy had learned that humans were not just great warriors, they were also great leaders. Dr. Kim, now the head of the Galactic Research Council, worked in a new laboratory that was 10 times larger than his old hiding place. Beneath Sol, human and alien scientists worked together, sharing knowledge and building technology that would benefit all species. The breakthrough discoveries came quickly. When humans and aliens worked together, they could solve problems that had puzzled scientists for centuries. They developed new medicines that could cure diseases affecting dozens of species. They created new energy sources that could power entire worlds. But the most important discovery was not technological, it was social. The humans had proven that different species could work together as equals. The old empire had been based on domination and fear. The new alliance was based on cooperation and respect. Commander Yun, now a prisoner of war but treated with dignity, sat in his comfortable cell watching the news broadcasts. He had expected the humans to execute him for his crimes, but instead they had given him a chance to help rebuild the galaxy. The humans had offered him a choice. He could spend the rest of his life in prison, or he could work to help other species understand human culture and values. Many former Empire officers had accepted similar offers. They had become teachers and advisors, helping to spread human ideals throughout the galaxy. On the screen, Yun watched human ships exploring distant star systems, not as conquerors, but as explorers and protectors. The species that had once been the Empire slaves were now free, protected by human fleets that asked for nothing in return except peace. You were right, Yun whispered to himself, thinking of Elder Nixon. His warnings so long ago. We should have listened to your warnings about humanity. But you were wrong about one thing. The humans are not dangerous because they are violent. They are dangerous because they are good. The humans had redefined what it meant to be powerful in the galaxy. True power was not the ability to destroy, it was the ability to protect. True strength was not conquering your enemies, it was turning them into friends. Captain Park, now promoted to Admiral, commanded the human patrol fleet that protected the outer rim of the galaxy. Her ships were mixed crews of humans and aliens working together as equals. It was everything humanity had dreamed of when they first looked up at the stars. The galaxy was vast, and there were always new threats: pirates who attacked innocent travelers, dictators who oppressed their own people, criminals who thought they could hide in the darkness of space. But now there was always someone watching, someone who would come to help. Sir, reported Captain Han, the communications officer of Admiral Park. Flagship, we are receiving a distress call from the Vega system. Pirates are attacking a refugee convoy carrying families from the former Empire worlds. Admiral Park smiled grimly, set course for Vega maximum speed. The crew of her ship moved with practiced efficiency, humans and aliens working together with perfect coordination. They had trained for this moment, and they were ready. The pirates who were attacking the convoy had expected an easy victory. The refugees were defenseless, and there were no Empire ships left to protect them, but they had forgotten about the humans and the new galactic order. The human ships arrived like avenging angels, appearing from hyperspace with weapons charged and ready. The pirates tried to fight, but they were facing the descendants of the species that had destroyed the mighty Empire. The battle was over in minutes, but the real victory was not the defeated pirates, it was the saved refugees. The convoy carried families from dozens of different species, all seeking new homes in the free galaxy. The humans had risked their lives to protect people they had never met.